All right, guys, I just got back from an estimate on 2 yards in the same neighborhood. No gates, open lawns. These are $55, $60 lawns. I went ahead and quoted them at $55 since they are together. The person found me on Nextdoor. They found the ad. I haven't posted on there in over 2 weeks, so I need to actually do that again. Post an ad on Nextdoor, if anything, and you might pick up 4 or 5 lawns from it this year. I've already picked up 2. The video you guys are about to watch is me on an estimate that I recorded, and kind of just get the back and forth of the questions that go on. You might be able to hear me talking way too much. I often talk way too much. Sometimes I need to just do an estimate and leave. You'll be able to see the kind of questions that come up, kind of the things he wanted me to do, and the questions that he might have with those. So you're gonna hear the audio of that and also be able to see the lawn that he's talking about. And that's what this video is about. I've not forgotten about the door knocking video that I have promised you guys. It's been cold, it's been freezing out here. It's no excuse, but the thing is that I will do that early next week. So Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that video will come out shortly after that. The door knocking videos are always fun because you're gonna be able to see people that are happy, upset. It kind of breaks you out of your comfort zone, and so you're going to be able to see some things that break me out of my comfort zone since I haven't door knocked in a few months. I'm excited for that video. I know you guys have been as well. Let's go ahead and get into this video, and then the next video we're going to go ahead and go over door knocking and hopefully get some footage from me going out and trying to get some more customers. I'm on my way to go do an estimate or quote real quick. What we're looking at today is for a little bit of landscaping. He wanted some topsoil put down, wanted me to aerate, also put down some seed, and possibly some starter fertilizer as well. Wanted to get a quote on all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and meet with him right now, and then we'll be back. Guys, it's already March 14th, and I feel like I'm running behind a little bit. So I'm on the way to go look at this small landscaping job, I believe. They just want some aerating, some overseeding done, possibly some fertilizer, and maybe some topsoil moved in. And question I had for some of you guys is just starting out without having some of that equipment, it's a little more difficult to actually like quote, because a lot of times you're having to go rent the equipment. So we'll talk about that more in a second, but I'm about to pull up, and hopefully you guys might be able to get a little peek of the lawn itself, and see. It just depends. The main thing that depends is how much topsoil they're wanting, because I don't have a dingo, and I don't have a lot of time right now that I need to be shoveling and hauling wheelbarrows full of 5 yards of dirt around. I really need to get out and start mowing here in the next week and a half. So hopefully you guys get to catch a little bit of the lawn, kind of get an idea. I'm not going to go too creepy on. I'm not going to get too much into his personal life, but just get a peek of the lawn itself, see what it looks like for you guys. All right, guys, it looks like we are here. That's going to be this yard right here. You can tell it definitely does need some seed work. It looks like some seed work might have been put in last year. We'll see. Excuse me as I drive. I don't have my holder right now. I need to go buy one. But that would be very helpful if you like to film yourself and drive. That'd be very helpful to have. All right, I'm gonna inconspicuously get out of the car. So definitely we need some work. Yeah, so a lot of what we're kind of hoping to do is
just make grass grow, make things look greener. We bought this house back in April of last year, and the previous owners didn't really take care of it, so we were just kind of in a stage of cleaning it out. Haven't really gotten to the actual like fertilization or anything like that.
Okay.
So this actually looks a lot better than the backyard, believe it or not.
Well, I see a lot of this actually, especially with all the homes being bought right now. A lot of people that were living there for 20 years, and just there's a lot of just overgrowth, and or there's bare spots all over the place. So yeah, it happens, and yeah, you're not the first one to say, you know, to move in, you want to kind of fix it up a little bit. So
yeah,
and you were looking to aeration, like kind of overseeding that.
You know, we're just kind of getting started on the process, so we'd just love to hear your thoughts on what you think would maybe work best.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna rake this up before, you know, anyone comes out.
Yeah, kind of got a little bit of some like thatch in there mixed with some dead leaves, but you know, yeah, that would help out, especially with the seeding and things like that. But yeah, check out the back, I guess.
Sure.
If you want. Which way is the best?
Yeah, this way's probably gonna be best. Yeah, we are hoping to put some maybe mulch around the existing trees, just because there's so many roots around there.
Yeah, it's hard to plant.
Yeah.
Definitely hard to plant when unless you wanted to try and raise that up, which is kind of, I mean, that's kind of a high raise,
right?
And it'll just wash up against the fence sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're hoping to maybe towards the back
like
there where
that,
the trees were.
like that back corner, just fill in and get it. You want to get it nice and thick, right?
Yeah. And we're getting a small dog here in May, so I don't know if pee would be a problem or not. But,
no, it's, you know, I've got some neighbors that have like 4 pit bulls, mixes of course, and whenever it rains or doesn't, their yard's just tore up. So
yeah,
yeah, a little dog like that would be fine on new grass and things like that. Fertilizing, so with new seed, you don't want to put anything down that is going to have like a pesticide or herbicide, anything in it that's going to kill anything. Once the grass is tall enough to have been mowed 4 times, then you can, if you see weeds coming through, then it's safe at that time to go ahead and spray it or lay something else down. But if you want to just like get it started going really quickly, starter fertilizer is not too expensive. Like this year, all their prices went up, so
yeah,
I have to kind of go back and recheck what's going on with Site One, and if they have it even, but they usually will have something. So starter fertilizer is safe for new grass, and that would probably be, you know, put down. You can put that down either before or anytime after you plant the seed, or after it starts growing. But at the same time is fine too, because it gets the soil ready as well.
Awesome.
Aeration, that would be a good thing for back here for sure. I mean, when you're putting seed down, I see a lot of people just, you know, scatter seed, and I'm like, man, seed is so expensive now. It's crazy. I went to Walmart just for the fun of it. I went to Walmart to see how much, because I needed just a little bit for a customer. And I think a 5-pound bag was like over $20, and it wasn't anything special. It was nothing special. So for a 50-pound bag, and you're looking at about 5 pounds of seed per 1,000 square foot. So I would think, that would almost be enough, but I might want to do a little bit more. So with the equipment wise, I don't own an aerator myself. I would just have to rent it.
Okay.
But it's maybe like $70 to rent, and then I'd probably charge like, you know, $70 to do it.
Sure.
So just from having to fill it back up with gas and then getting it and things like that. So just to try and make it easier. But if you want to do multiple things at a time, then I can go ahead and just kind of give you a price list if you want.
Yeah. Would you recommend kind of de-weeding first, or growing the grass first and then de-weeding, or what do you kind of see as being best long term?
Right now, to get started off, like there's a lot of leaves back here, so that would be for me that'd be the number one thing, because an aerator, the tines on that, they're going to be sharp, and they're going to be able to tear holes in things, but the leaves could get in the way of those holes and seeds getting in. And
I'll rake all this up before you guys come out. So.
that'd be the first thing is like get rid like the leaves, just so like when the seed goes down, it has the best chance possible. And then it's the perfect time right now with the weather like it is, with the rain, everything's kind of wet. If we were doing this like in the fall or later summer, I'd say like make sure you put water on it. I see people, a lot of people spend a ton of money on seeds and then they're like, I can't afford to water it, and then it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing is I think it's the perfect time to do a lot of this, kind of get a jump on it. So when you start like the mowing schedule, you probably would wait a few weeks, let that new grass kind of grow in a little bit thick, and then cut it at that time. So cool. Okay. Step by step, I mean, definitely get the leaves out of the way, because that will, I mean, once leaves sit down, obviously you realize something on top of that's going to kill it. But
yeah,
this doesn't look like it's it's bare in spots and it's thin in spots, but it definitely looks like it can pop back and be a pretty cool lawn.
Nice. Okay.
Real nice and green and good for the little puppy also.
Yeah.
And you guys, barbecuing or whatever.
Sure.
But like I said, so if you want, I can do I can maybe even email you like
that'd be great.
Something that you. Here, let me get my nifty notepad out here.
I got one too. Yeah.
Well, what's your email address?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll do that just from what I'm kind of eyeballing right now, like space wise. The amount I'm gonna need, and then kind of like a labor on top of that, kind of like an overall price for everything.
Sure.
So you can kind of see that. So that'd be the aeration. Now you did mention also topsoil possibly.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on that. If you think that we could grow grass with this current soil, or if you think we need a layer of topsoil, or I guess what you think.
Now, how far out with the mulch were you planning on going? Like just kind of around it, small, like not taking up a huge area.
Yeah,
but
maybe hoping to go out to like right around here.
Okay, go out around here so we eat the roots. So if you were going to try and like seed this area right in here, where you see the roots coming up, I would suggest like you have to have something there, obviously, and the things with it downsloping a little bit. I wouldn't want to set you up for failure. I mean, if you were laying sod, you have which is a lot more expensive, and it also like raises the rest of your yard up, so it's kind of uneven for a year or two. But anywhere else, with aerating and overseeding, it seems to do a fairly good job. If there was any areas that you wanted raised, but it all seems kind of bare, like along the fence, like once the leaves are gone.
Yeah.
And with the aerator, the good thing is to hit it twice. Just from one direction then the other direction. That way you're really getting a good amount of holes in there.
Right.
And so, but I'll just give you kind of like just a little in the invoice, just kind of a little example of what the price would be. But
okay.
But it looks like mainly focused on just getting grass growing. Yeah, I think the starter fertilizer actually might be a really good thing to either put down with the seed, because things are starting to turn green, and what that does is it's just going to make everything explode even more.
Nice.
It's going to get that soil ready too for the new seed. So
perfect.
That's one thing I would definitely heavily suggest. But definitely, yeah, the aeration at least twice over. And if it comes up, if there's areas that would need I could see maybe if there's a bag or two of topsoil that might be needed just to kind of mix in with the seed in certain areas, just to make sure it really goes. Maybe sometimes back corners, but that one doesn't look as sunk in as a lot of back corners I see.
Awesome. Okay.
So that's I can get a quote ready for you and just kind of email that to you. I don't know.
Yeah.
When were you looking to kind of get this kind of rolling now that the sun's shining, and well, especially right now, honestly, it's starting to feel that way.
We're pretty open. We're hoping maybe sometime in April, but if there's a different time that you think would work better, we're open to that too. Just
the best thing for me with new grass is sometimes just like to let it grow. Some people want to get on it too soon, but
Gotcha.
At least a few weeks. And
I don't mind not mowing for a few weeks.
yeah. Any other questions for me about about anything?
You know, I don't think so. This has definitely been helpful. Just to kind of hear your thoughts. So yeah, definitely looking forward to getting your email, and yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get that invoice sent over to you, man.
Great to meet you.
It was good to meet you too. Well, we'll get this thing, figured out, and like I said, I'll pull some of that pricing together. I was actually trying to last night before I came, but some of them were, call in for pricing right now, just because whether they have it or not, or I think we're starting to get back on a better schedule, but it's just everything's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, inflation.
Yeah, even the pricing for the aerator, to rent the aerator was, I think $15 less on the website than it was when she quoted me on the phone.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was like, you'd think that they would have their website guys go in there and take care of that real quick, but
right.
I'm gonna double check on all that different stuff and get to you, make sure you get taken care of. There's definite potential. Like if there's a lot more of these roots, like all throughout the yard, and I've had to, people call me like with a whole bunch of like larger trees and roots throughout the whole yard. It's really hard to get grass to grow sometimes, especially with there being so much cover over the top, and also with the roots, it's hard. It's really just hard for seed to really get in there and do anything. So
right.
You definitely have some potential.
That sounds good. Yeah, those trees that were back there, they're pretty small. They're dead, and we moved into. So it seems like the roots, whatever was left of them, have kind of sunken down a little bit. So.
Did you guys remove those, or did they remove those?
We hired someone to remove them. So
okay.
Yeah.
It looks a lot cleaner that way, and.
Yeah, we think so too.
Yeah.
Opens up a little more.
Yeah, that definitely does it. Those corner trees and shrubs can kind of overtake the lawn. All right, man. Well, any other questions, just give me you can text or give me a call, but I'm going to try and within the next day, while they're open tomorrow at least, give them a call and just make sure on some prices for you and see what I can do.
Sure. That sounds good.
But
yeah, well, thanks again for coming out.
Yeah, but you said somebody recommended me?
I was actually looking it up just online, best lawn services in Olathe, and you popped up. So
what? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I hope so. I'm trying to bring customer service back into the industry. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Why not? So
that's good.
Awesome, man. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And congrats on the new house.
Thanks. Once we get the lawn taken care of, we'll be able to be outside a little more.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
And I'll get that email to you here in the next day. And if you have any questions about the quote or email or anything like that, just give me a holler.
Great.
And I'll discuss that with you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, Connor. This is the front yard, and it's really not a bad, aerating and seeding job. So like I was telling him, there's not really any large tree roots, hard ground that's going to keep seed from taking. It looked like there was a couple of trees in the back, but that was about it. There's a couple of trees that had like roots coming out of the ground, but he plans on turning that into some mulch around those trees. So one thing I wanted to talk about is when someone asks for a lawn quote and it's something that maybe you grew up doing this, or you like me, I've got lots of years in the industry, but just starting out, I don't have an aerator. Just starting out, honestly, I think my wheelbarrow is at my mom's house. It's just a lot of the things like where I live right now, I don't have on hand. And so either you got to rent those, borrow those, or the other option is, do you just stick to mowing and maintenance for the time being and kind of grow that? And if you want to get into that landscaping or a little more of that, like aerating, dethatching, if you want to get a little bit more into that side of things, do you want to save up and maybe purchase that equipment so that you can make a huge profit, or not a huge profit, but make more of a profit when you do those jobs than like for me, when I'm going to have to go rent an aerator and then maybe just charge him double, also fill it back up with gas and then bring it back there. At the end of the day, that makes almost no sense at all. But with the add-ons, I can add on to the seed discount that I get, and pass that on. With the fertilizer that I get for a discount, obviously the labor on spreading both of those, and also if he needs any topsoil. It sounded like he didn't really need any topsoil, which I'm really glad, because I don't have a Toro Dingo. If it was a larger job, that's something I would want. But that was just my question: is it worth it sometimes to be in the situation where you want to be able to do everything you can for whoever calls you, and at the same time you have to go rent the equipment, so the profits are just way down. Now if you got to go rent that equipment and you can add a few jobs that, you know, if you have a spreader, you can spread seed, you can spread the fertilizer and make up for it with that, and also that client also become a regular mowing and maintenance customer, then I believe it's worth it at that point. But there's some jobs that you might just need to turn over to someone else, and that's my next step. Is I have a few lawn companies that I know of that I can refer things like this to, and they will refer lawns back to me. And so again, I was trying to be a little more local, a little more within my 5-mile radius this season. But one thing I'm finding out is, like I said, with the word of mouth, it's going to be spread around. The way that this guy found me was on Google. He said, you know, best lawn cares in the area, and I'm a good 10 minutes from him, and there's a lot of lawn cares in between me and him. But he found me, which is really, actually sounds like I did some good SEO work or something. So that's some things to think about, especially re-entering the industry, you know, with renting equipment and things like that. Is it worth it? But another thing is that I haven't started mowing yet. So at this point, laying mulch, doing leaf work, cleanups, things like that is worth it. So renting an aerator and putting seed down and doing all that is completely worth it, because you're not doing anything else otherwise, except trying to acquire customers, which you can always squeeze time in for. So it was a couple days after this estimate that I got an email. He was asking about if I provide a basically weed control fertilizer before seeding, and also about some pruning trees and things like that. And so that's a good sign. I kind of already went through, I believe, any, you know, laying down anything that kills weeds or anything with seeds starting to grow. I'm not sure if I went over the actual amount of time, especially laying a granule before you can actually lay seed down. So I went ahead and responded back to his email on that. Suggested, again, just starting with starter fertilizer over the entire yard, seeding as fast as possible, and then going back and possibly spot spraying any weeds that come up here in the next month and a half or two. And that way you're a little bit safer on the newer grass. We'll see. I'll let you know if we get the bid on this one. But otherwise, hope you guys have a great day. Good season.